Okay. Hello, Gwe, everyone, and welcome to the First Nations Women Transforming Conservation Fellowship Information Session today. Walalin, thank you all for joining us today, Walalio. As we go through the presentation, please submit any questions you may have using the Q&A box. We'll answer as many as we can during the Q&A period at the end of our webinar. And for webinar security, the chat has been disabled and today's session is being recorded so it can be shared with all of those who are not able to attend. I'm going to start out with some introductions, and as I introduce each individual, they'll give a wave, and you can see who each person is. So today we have Justina Ray, the President and Senior Scientist of the Wildlife Conservation Society of Canada. She and Val Courtois from the ILI, the Indigenous Leadership Initiative, co-created this fellowship, and she will be the main host of this webinar. We also have Linda Dwyer, the Director of Operations at the Indigenous Leadership Initiative. She's a member of the Algonquin of Gitigan-Zigi, Anishinaabe, situated in southwestern Quebec. And we have two members from the Auntie Circle who are joining us today, who are nice enough to support the info session. And that is Bev Sellers, who's a senior advisor to ILI. She's a former counselor in chief at Hatzoul, Soda Creek First Nation in Williams Lake, BC. Um, Former counselor in chief of Hatzoul. Excuse me, just making sure I said that right, and served as an advisor for the BC Treaty Commission. She's an author of a book called They Called Me Number One, a memoir of her childhood experience in the Indian residential school system and its effects on three generations of women in her family. And also Linda McDonald, a Kaska elder and a member of the Liard First Nation who lives in Watson Lake, Yukon. She has spent much of her life, working on issues related to protecting Kaska lands. She continues to share her parents' lessons in natural resource management, stressing the need to proceed in ways that respect and reflect traditional Kaska values, beliefs, and practices. I'm going to pass it over to Justina now, and I'm going to get a video started.
Yeah, and before I go, perhaps Shine, can you introduce yourself though too?
Yes. Thanks, Justina. So, Boy, Deloisi Cheyenne McDonald. My name is Cheyenne McDonald. I'm a member of Sipekne'katik First Nation in Nova Scotia, and I'm the Ilnuwatagadeo, or the Indigenous Relations Associate at WCS Canada. Thanks, Justina. Take it over.
Great. Okay, so we are going to be using just an hour of your time. I'm going to start now by as soon as the presentation is loaded, I'm going to talk a little bit about the fellowship, and so that we can give you a bit of a taste of what it's like, what are the impetuses behind it, how we've designed it, how it's structured, and so on. But we anticipate that there will nevertheless be questions afterwards, and so we're taking some time and space for that as well. And I'm surrounded by colleagues who will help answer those questions and also provide a little bit more information. Next slide, please. Just when I said surrounded by colleagues, I mean these wonderful women here who have been introduced, and so you'll hear them speaking a little bit later. Thanks very much for that. Next. So this is just a bit of an overview of the session, and this is going to be 1 hour. We've already been introducing, and I'm in the middle of the overview and then the question and answer period. Thanks. Next slide. We will be recording this and also providing this slide deck for anyone who is curious afterwards or wants to go back and see what some of the things that we've presented. The initiative is really co-hosted, co-created, co-conceived by two organizations, and particularly Valérie Courtois and myself, who took about 8 months or so of conversation, and then before we brought in our colleagues in the two organizations. And so it really is very much about co-hosting this initiative, taking on the various parts of it, and also we have very similar uh, interests in terms of the why, and also some of the style in which we deliver this opportunity, but our organizations are fundamentally different, and so providing these different experiences for which the fellows are able to embed themselves for the over the course of the year in various ways. And that's the ideas we conceived it, and we carried that out through the year, learning lots from the experience. Next slide. And as mentioned in the video, we are celebrating the legacy of Dr. Cheryl Hetkevich here, and we have a bio of her on the website. Her spirit is behind the conception and even the delivery of this experience. And we celebrate her life, and it is about 2 years right now that she passed. So very apropos to be thinking about her so deeply during these times. Next. The vision is to support Indigenous women leaders in conservation and stewardship. We are focused on First Nations. That is our First Nations women is our where we have the most competent, most intersections. But the objectives are fourfold or fivefold. We're supporting First Nations women-led initiatives and leaders themselves to revitalize and sustain healthy and resilient communities. These are also about the ability to have Indigenous-led leaders, is also for mobilizing financial and technical resources for leaders, enabling culturally appropriate learning, training opportunities, mentorship, nurturing communities of practice, and mentorship is really key to that, and then providing opportunities for reciprocal learning in our organizations. And that was definitely something that occurred through our embedded experiences. Next slide. It is designed to empower First Nations women to build and sort of take on a new trajectory based on a significant foundation of leadership that has potential. And we're drawing on both community and organizational mentorship opportunities. These come from the two organizations themselves, as well as the Auntie Circle of Expertise, which we'll talk about in a second. And they're very much tailored towards the strengths of and the interests of the individual participants. So they are selected without with significant look at what each individual is interested in and their contributions, but we have no preconceived notions of this. We get the applications, and then we've chosen these two fellows, and they might be from different parts of Canada. They might have different interests. Will have different strengths to build on, but this is meant to be tailored towards those. We explore a range of concepts through the training and mentorship experience that are listed here, but are not limited to those. We do have a set of mandatory experiences, but then also ones that come from opportunities, and again, that are tailored for interests and also availability of opportunities. And the expected outcomes are really also tailored to the particular individuals. And we end with what we call a bit of a capstone project, which is really built on the portfolio of successes and interests that were garnered over the year. Next slide. And the Auntie Circle, and this is a picture of all of us assembled together last June. We were fortunate enough to be together at the Guardians Gathering in Victoria. That doesn't come every year, but it was this year. And these are leaders within communities and nations. Of course, they're all women, many Indigenous or most Indigenous, but not all. These have carriers of breadth of experience in so many facets, and passion for relationships and responsibilities to lands and waters that manifests in so many ways, as you might have also gotten a view of through the video. And then their own commitment to uplifting women has been absolutely clear throughout the year. I want to pause for a second and give voice to the two aunties we are so grateful that volunteered for coming in and talking in directly about this experience. And maybe I can turn to Bev Sellers first, who we introduced at the beginning, and maybe you have a few words to contribute about this experience.
Yes, I do. I wish I had something like this when I was going into leadership. I was green, green, green. when I was first elected into my community, and over the years learned by trial and error. So this is amazing watching these two fellows. Our first meeting with them in Victoria to the end of it, the transformation of them, of the confidence, and of really asking tough questions of the aunties, and just being able to discuss so many different things. And so this is a great program, and I encourage everybody to apply for it and try to get in on it. Thank you.
I just almost had trouble unmuting myself. Linda McDonald, thank you so much, Bev. And Linda McDonald, you might have a few words to add to that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bev, for your words, and welcome and hello to everybody on this fine day. I really have to echo Bev's words, and as well to add to that, what this initiative has done is brought together those of us aunties from across the country. We may or may not have heard of each other. Sometimes you feel like you're working alone, and then to meet all these wonderful aunties, and then to know that we're passing on knowledge and experience to young people. What could feel better and more like honoring our roles as First Nation elders is to know that we're passing on our knowledge. And in spite of the world, we've got so much more technology than when Bev and I and the other aunties were young, so many more opportunities, but in some ways, we communicate less. So
Mm.
I think this organization and in teaching these young women has been fantastic. And those two women and the other ones who will be following, they're like a pebble in a pond. The ripple effect from their experiences and what they are going to do is going to definitely meet our goals and then beyond. We are all in this for the same reasons: to protect our lands, to protect our knowledge, and to share our knowledge, and to honor each other, and to honor our roles as women who walk forward in a good way, as we always have. And we are trying to give each other strength, and in particular, young people who have to face so much more than we did when we were young. So I just hold my hands up to all those who will be applying to both ILI and WCS for creating this program, and to all of you who are a part of it. Sugusin la kolanits igorste. Thank you.
Thank you so much to you both, and also for the energy that you put in this year, and so grateful to you for providing this kind of testimony. Next slide. Now we get into the little bit of the nuts and bolts, and remember that all of this is available on the websites, and as well as this actual slide deck, and so don't worry about not having all the details right away. But as we've discussed, this is our second cohort, and I'll talk about the timeline in a minute. We are again have places for 2 fellows. It is a contract position with ILI, and it is at 15 days a month. And so that means, it can certainly be shared with other jobs, but is not meant to be a full-time position, but leave room for other activities. It's set up to be remote, so any people can live and be based anywhere, and we'll bring you to certain opportunities as they allow. And there will be travel and in-person opportunities. These are not fixed. They come up, some of them are fixed, but others will come up as an opportunity arises, and again, as is befitting or as tailored to individual participants or fellows. So fellows will receive a stipend, mentorship from various corners, both Indigenous and non-Indigenous, from the two organizations, from the aunties, from others, perhaps. And there are opportunities for training, networking, and community building. And it is very much meant to be a two-way street. It has been this last year in the sense of both learning from the fellows as well, but also learning about how to improve delivery of the fellowship as time goes on. We've learned a lot from the first year, and we expect to keep learning as this progresses. Next slide. The application process is meant to, really be as simple and straightforward as possible. And we're asking for a resume, which is a summary of your professional and experience that might come from all corners. As we learned in the first year, applicants came from all walks of life, and they were equally attractive in many ways. Multimedia option, and you can also upload photos or other videos or creative materials that might support your application. And all of the application materials and needs that we're asking for are on the website, which we'll give the link in a minute, but you must apply before June 30th. June 30th is the last day. Next slide. And this is the timeline. We're asking for applications by June 30th, as I just said. We're going to take a little bit of time during the summer to screen. An interview will have a staged process, so there will likely be two phases in terms of both screening and then also interviews. The final set of interviews of 5 people will be undertaken with me and Val and a couple of aunties as well. So that will be the final decision. Fellows will be notified very early in September, if not late August, and we'll finalize contracts, but the actual official starting date will not be in October. For those of you who are aware of last year, we did start earlier, but we purposely decided to start after the summer rather than before the summer this year for a variety of reasons, and also to allow us some time between the end of the last year's fellows and the beginning of next ones, and to provide the best possible onboarding experience and so on, and goal setting. Next. Up, already a question and answer period. I will say that we'll put in the link, the link for the application. Maybe Linda Dwyer, if you could give the actual link to the application so that people can see that. But it's also available on our websites. And the exact opportunities are there in terms of what are the actual steps to take for the application. And we'll open up for questions. I think we have a few. Cheyenne, I leave it to you.
Okay, great. Excuse me. So right now we have 2, but the first one is just had mentioned an echo. So
Oh,
apologies that there may have been a bit of an echo during the presentation. Hopefully everyone was able to hear. If there needs to be clarification, this is a great time also to ask for clarification on anything that maybe wasn't heard very clearly. But the first real question, besides the echo, is when does the fellowship end?
so this is a 1-year experience, and so 12 months. So it started from June 1st and ended on May 31st. And so although we haven't selected the exact starting date, it will be 1 year. We also anticipate and are already starting to develop this engagement by alumni. So the first cohort of fellows, we have not, those relationships continue even after the end of the fellowship, and we're sorting out ways in which they might be engaged with the next cohort. But we've certainly have developed relationships that we don't want to give up with these 2 individuals. So that's a natural kind of progression that is already apparent from the first set of fellows. Linda, I don't know if you have anything to add to that. If you do, just come in. Either Linda Dwyer, especially from ILI. I've been talking all this time, and so of course, anytime you want to break in, just let us know.
I think you're good. Yeah, basically you're saying I'm having trouble putting the link up because I
Oh,
can't seem to
yes,
submit a question.
that's true. Okay, yes, because you're but we'll follow up with that.
Perfect.
We have had another question come in, and it is what was your favorite learning opportunity this year? And I'm not sure where the fellows aren't here if that was directed towards the antes or the organizations, a mix of both, if someone wanted to follow up to give a little bit more clarity.
Yeah, I don't think we can answer that directly on behalf of the fellows. Some of that came out in the video in terms of the types of experiences that they highlighted. And I will say, just to add to that, that there was quite a mix of experiences. And so some of it was direct engagement with research projects that were happening on the ground, and you could see a few examples of that in the video. So WCS Canada does field-based research in a lot of our programming, and so the fellows did choose experiences to go out and learn how to capture bats at night, for example, or do macroinvertebrate sampling, as you saw, which gives you a good idea about the health of rivers from a Western science perspective. There was also other opportunities with lake sturgeon research and community building and so on, with IPCA meetings that had to do with Indigenous protected and conserved areas and for various stages of their development. We had two experiences of more on the policy side, so both going to Ottawa to work and meet with key decision makers, many of whom were women, a number of Indigenous women, and who are senators, who are perhaps ministers, and all in the federal government, and talk to them about their experiences, how they got to where they are, how they feel, what it feels like to be in the position that they are, what advice they have for emerging leaders, and so on. And then experiences that have more to do with embedding inside the different organizations. So I wouldn't be prepared to say which ones were favorite, but we got a little bit of a picture of that from the video.
And from my point of view, my favorite, of course, was the gathering, because any place where we gather not only Indigenous women, but guardians, it's uplifting. And it was the first time for us to actually meet the fellows. I think as well, they've gone into communities as well for storytelling. There seemed to be a lot of positive from that.
Yes.
We have a storytelling aspect of it. So, and really you get to develop, as Justina was saying, the path that you choose. So it could be a new, different experience that would be happening for you.
Linda and Bev, do you want to have anything to add to that, or Cheyenne?
No, I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a lot of really favorite moments throughout the year, to be honest, but I think it was the fellows. Being immersed in the things that they love so much and seeing the passion and the drive behind them. Especially Taylor, she was doing a master's around sturgeon research, so being able to visit Ontario and work with our team around lake sturgeon and the youth, the Learning from Lake Sturgeon project with the youth. Um, Same with Mary Jo. She had a lot of really incredible interests. She was learning a lot of skills to take back to her community, and seeing her execute those skills in what she was producing for her community was also a huge highlight of the year.
I just want to add that we had
Yeah.
monthly meetings, and I always looked forward to those meetings to see what they were doing and what everybody was doing, and just to watch them grow over the year, I think was my favorite time. So, and Mary Jo picked me as her main auntie, um, and so I spent quite a bit of time with her. We'd go out for lunch whenever I was in Kamloops, or we'd have chats and whatever. So it was really great to have that one-on-one with her. So that was my favorite time.
Great addition. The next question we have, and I can actually answer it because I have the criteria right in front of me. So the next question is, do we have to live in a First Nation community to apply? And so, no, you don't actually have to live directly in the community. You just need to be a member of a First Nation within Canada and recognized within your community, its leadership, its members, and other traditional governance systems. One of our fellows last year did not live on community and lived nearby, but outside. The next one is funding ongoing? May not be able to apply for this year, but interested for next year.
We have every aspiration to continue this and to learn each year. But we're going year by year for the moment. And it's great that you're interested. We want to keep the word out. We want to keep improving delivery of this experience. And so we have every intention of continuing if we can.
Interesting. Next question, I could also answer it, but it's, is there an age limit? And no, absolutely not. So there is no age limit. We're just looking for individuals that are early to mid-career, with established skills, but still with room to grow in your areas, especially around leadership and mentorship. If anyone wanted to add, Bev, Linda, Justina, um, Linda times two. If you
No, I
have.
think you covered it really well, Cheyenne. It's that mid, especially the leadership, it's to add, once you've kind of realized where your path is moving forward, because, we all take our time to get to that certain area. We're here to support you kind of achieve your next steps, basically. That's what the fellowship is for me. So, oh, I'm seeing the questions come up if you see me reading.
That's cool.
And we have a question here. Now, this may be a little bit more geared or directed towards ILI, and I'm not sure if it may be something you may want to follow up with, but I will say the question right now is, are you able to get assistance with further developing a concept for operations given our uh, Gitsen territories in BC?
Um, I'm not sure. It depends on what you're asking for. Like, are you asking for support in the fellowship? What your end goal or what is the title that we had?
Objectives or
Yeah,
yeah.
the objectives at the end. But how
Oh,
about
the
if you want
capstone, the
the
capstone. Yeah.
capstone project?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if it
Sorry.
is that's in gear, yes, that's something we could support on your path forward. Maybe what I would suggest is go on the ILI website and email info@ILI, and that will get me. Ask for Linda, and we can chat to see if this is something that's in line with the fellowship, or maybe we could support you outside of this.
Great. And from the same individual, I will just mention they also said that they've been an advocate for 40 years and worked in major projects governance for the federal government for 10 years and 20 years with the RCMP working on the Olympics and applied to this lived experience to develop a CNOPS for health, safety, and security. So appreciate that addition, and I will wanted to mention that. And the next one is, how were the fellows able to take on the 15 days a month and still be able to take on obligations of their current job? Were they able to balance both? That's a good one.
Yeah, and again, we shouldn't speak for them directly on this score, but it's always like a trade-off in the sense of, you make it a full-time job, but then, that is often very limiting to people who have continued what do you call continued engagements. We do ask for agreement with the employer and to ensure that the employer embraces this and sees this as an opportunity as well, and that there's room in the schedule. And that, of course, does rely quite a bit on trust, and we have to consider that as we choose and develop contracts with each individual. And then the other aspect about balance is that we really try as hard as we can to, have that that set of opportunities not be too much, so that it's spaced out toward around the year. It's in keeping in mind with what are the obligations of that individual. This past year, certainly both had other things happening, which they needed to juggle at the same time as this opportunity. They saw them as sort of mutually affirming to a certain extent. And but we had to leave it up to them in terms of their availability and match that with opportunity. It's not always easy, as it is for most of us who are have some degree of ambition and a desire to learn. That when you're sort of drinking from a water hose, as they say, in the sense of where there's a lot of opportunities happening that you don't want to miss, but at the same time you have to make sure to do so in a way that doesn't leave you exhausted or anything. So we have designed those experiences with that in mind is the best that I can say. And I think sometimes it works extremely well, and sometimes it'll be a little challenging, especially for ambitious leaders who are juggling quite a few things, and that's the truth. Yeah, Linda, thank
Yeah, I'm
you.
just going to follow up. There is a lot of ebb and flow to this. There's
Yeah,
times where it's going to be quite intense. And someone asked about what the 15 days. It is somewhat flexible. So there could be a month where it is with travel a higher lift than the 15, and those say around the holidays, Christmas, it's lower. So it's an overall average of 15.
yeah.
And
Thanks for
and there
that.
are some core experiences that are, we can't be too flexible with. So like the Ottawa, we have to, you guys attend when, Parliament's sitting. So there's certain things that there's a little bit of flexibility, not so much, but we do have a calendar. So you guys are aware well ahead of where the ones that are kind of expected. The rest of the experience really are, you are picking your path forward, like your stories. So, um, you know, there's some openness there. So, like, I think with some of the WCS, they're a little bit more strict because, especially, it's species based. Like, so, like the sturgeon, they're only going, you know what I mean, or whatever the species are. But other than that, like, there's a comms component that is very open. That is not a set date, so we can work within that schedule there. And some of the other activities as well. It's kind of like multi options. So, but it is a challenge if you are working full time. It's like Justina said, it can be a lot, but it also, if your employer, especially if you're working in a community or if your own contractor, hopefully they see the benefits and you will grow from these experiences. But that's about it. Cheyenne?
Wonderful. And so I will say we've answered both of those and getting into what the flexibility looks like. That was a great point, Linda, around the calendar. And Justina, like she had mentioned, there are some core opportunities, but a lot are very flexible and will be determinant on what your interests are. Coralie John says, as a small business owner, they rely on contract work, so this may be a good example, which is rooted in traditional knowledge of her people, and a little worried about double bookings, but hope that um, they wouldn't have work conflicts and they could participate fully. So that may be contract work, may be one of those examples of one of those outlets.
Yeah, and again, if an opportunity doesn't come up, I mean, if an opportunity cannot be seized that comes up, then it tends to balance in other ways. We do ask for people who apply that they're able to have the flexibility and that if they have a full-time job, that their employers are embracing this because it wouldn't work otherwise. Like you can't, you would have to really ensure that you make space for the opportunities to be able not to have so much travel on your other job that this travel would be too cumbersome. So so there are some realities in there in terms of being able to create the best opportunity that you can. And we can discuss that when it comes closer to the time of actually offering a position and or discussing the contract.
Next question, and I actually have something I can start with, and then I'll hand it over to Justina and Linda and see if they want to add
Sounds
more.
great.
Out of the 15 days a month, how long were past fellows away from home? So, as we're looking into our second cohort, we're looking at about or around 5 core opportunities such as travel opportunities. So keep in mind, it's not going to be every month. Out of 12 months of the year, there will be, we are thinking, approximately five. The opportunities can very much vary depending on if they are conferences, if you are participating in research, if you are at a scheduled event. So as mentioned, those can look anywhere from 2 to 3 days, 4 to 5 days. Again, flexibility is there as well too, depending on what people may have at home and going on. Um, but that's I would say what it's been looking like and what we're projecting that it'll look like. But Justina and Linda, anything to add on the end of that?
I would say that the place where you're situated makes a big difference. So if you're next to a major airport or not too far away from it, that will obviously make the travel perhaps a little bit less in certain circumstances, or even be able to avail of certain opportunities that are a little bit closer. But that is not a choice from our perspective. Like we're not choosing on that basis at all. Having people from remote communities is just as viable an option as somebody that's next to a major airport. But it would, in reality, affect the amount of time that you're away potentially, based on that kind of configuration. Linda?
No, I agree completely. And as well, like when you're looking at what best path forward is, it's, you know what I mean, there is going to be the core ones where we expect travel, but a lot of this could be virtual as well, where we're supporting like
Mm.
with the antes, even one-on-one, or even the different experiences, say with I can speak for ILI, guardians, from operations, implementation, or even just seeing what's going on out there, IPC protected areas and conserved areas, sorry, too many acronyms, or wildfire work, which we're really starting to go into. These would be more virtual unless there are events that are occurring, but it's not to just travel for travel's sakes. It's about the experiences that you're going to obtain in these communities. And hopefully we're trying to line them up with the aunties are going to hear this, is maybe the aunties attending these. So you're getting the one-on-one with the aunties as well at some of these events. So, or community, I say events, but going into community, that's where I enjoy most of my work. So
Yeah, and I think when you apply, spend a little bit of time on the websites of both organizations. You'll get a little bit of a flavor of the kind of work that we do. It's very complementary, but also distinct. And of course, that helps you kind of picture the kind of experiences that you might have. Certainly, if you're selected and before we chart out the year, that is also helpful to know exactly what are the things that you're most excited about learning, and then other things that might not be exactly apparent from the two organizations. We still, both of us are very well connected to conservation across country and can make some things happen even if they are not directly applicable to our direct work that we do on the ground. So our connections are also part of this, and we anticipate that would happen more and more as time went on, as we would be able to take advantage of all of our collaborators across the country. Well, it looks
We
like, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Just I think what you were just about to say, Justina, is we've run to the end of our questions. If nobody else has any last lingering things they want to ask, I think we're coming to the close of our info session today.
We will put this out on out on social media, this on our respective websites. Uh, Linda gave the address of the email. What was it again? info@ili.org.
oh, I put my email in there. So if anyone wants to
Okay,
email me
sounds
directly,
good.
easier.
Sounds good. And go to either of our websites, ilinationhood.org and then wcscanada.org as well. Great. Oh, there seems to be one other question.
Great.
It's a comment.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Miigwech, Sherry.
Thank you. I don't know what. Okay. Thank you. Oh, there's somebody else too. Linda, did you want to say something? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say as well, I can't emphasize enough what a unique opportunity this is. This isn't like a fellowship anywhere else because it's so unique in terms of the individuals who end up getting selected. And then in terms of these experiences at the communities, you'll find out you'll reach out to your own community or perhaps a community that one of us aunties comes from, and there just might be something happening. So you really don't know what the experience will be, but as a fellowship uh, members or as people who successful applicants, you'll see that you can create your own experience. And I just don't know of any opportunity like this where you're getting the vast knowledge and experience from right across the country. And as Bev said, it just was so great to hear every month how just how our young ladies were doing, and it just was so heartwarming to hear from them, and then to see the video and hear from them just what they gained from it. I just can't emphasize enough. Anyone who's interested, please apply. It will change your life. Sugusan. Thank you.
And Bev,
Yeah, I just want to say that it's I would love to have all of the aunties here and the range of skills that they have. I mean, as Linda said earlier, it was good for us too. I mean,
mm,
Ethel Blondin, I mean, I've learned so much from her being on the ILI and being introduced to Justina and her organization that I'd never met any of them before. And so it's great for everyone. And I just really would encourage you to apply. And yeah, what a unique opportunity.
well, thank you so much. Cheyenne, do you want to close?
Certainly, certainly. Well, to everyone who was able to join us today for the info session. I hope that everyone learned some things. I hope it piqued your interest, and I hope it gave you a little bit more insight into what this opportunity looks like and how it can be, how it can work for you, and how you can apply. As Linda's put her email in the chat, reach out if you have any more specific questions, but we will be sending out the web or the info session, excuse me, as well. There will be an FAQ at the end with some additional answered questions. So check if your questions are there. But other than that, well, so much, Bev and Linda, for joining the call today. Just as your presence throughout the fellowship has been so monumental and instrumental to the fellowship, so has it been today during the info session. What you've added is a perspective that not many can have from our first cohort. So it has been so wonderful to hear your perspectives as well, Linda and Justina. So great. All of the input you had put. I don't think there's a single thing that you had forgot that I could think of. So I think all the details were pretty much here and included. So again, everyone take care. Nemoltis means we will see you again, not goodbye. So that's what we're hoping for all of you here that are listening in, and take care.
Thank you so much. Take care, everybody.